Let's do
I
that.
feel
We're
like I
live.
just talked to you.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a possibility. That's yeah, I'm the same guy. It's still me. I'm
Yeah,
still showing up.
an hour ago.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? It's like no matter where you go, there I am. So
There he is.
good to see you, Sandra, Lynn, Jennifer's here, Judith. We got Renee here, Timet, Tiny Sasquatch. I'm sure you're driving right now, so no need to be on camera. Excuse me. John Lavinia here with you. To your delight or dismay, I don't know, but good to see you all. We do have some changes coming to our platform here, so stay tuned for that. I know a lot of you are new, so you're like, I just got here. What do you mean changes? So anyway, things evolve, and we'll have more to announce by next week. But I know you guys got to experience a different kind of session yesterday. Not sure what you all talked about, but today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is the mindset of success as an entrepreneur, or whatever you're doing with your life. Obviously, everyone here is engaged in some sort of an entrepreneurial action, right? There's a difference between having a hobby, an avocation, right, versus doing something professionally. And of course, the barometer for that, as I see it, is that hobbies you pay to do, that costs you money. As a profession, well, you get paid to do it, right? And you can look at anything in life where I used to be in the music business, and as a fan, I would pay to go hear the music, and as a performer, I would be the producer of the music and get paid to do it, right? So you see the difference there. Now, in my case, it wasn't terribly profitable, so it was a bit more of a hobby. But we sold CDs and T-shirts and whatever. But the idea was that the reward we were getting was coming from multiple directions. In other words, not only was there here's some money, but also the uplifting, the gratification, the production of that art form, right? Ask any artist or singer or musician, right? There's value in aesthetics. Okay, so I'm making a point here. Stick with me. Here's the point: is that it was a different experience for me when I showed up professionally, to whatever degree, than it was as a fan. In fact, one of my mentors in the music business said, I like the music business better when I was a fan. Right? So it's fun to have hobbies. It's fun to be a fan. Now we're going to work. Okay. So here's the consideration. And this is something that came up just before we went live, because Lynn took a trip to London, and which I haven't been to in some years. And it reminded me of a lecture I was hearing from this guy who's actually a minister, and he was talking about how he felt homesick for London, even though he never lived there, but he had been there. And where was London? It was within himself. And so the reminder was that we take ourselves with us wherever we go. So as you are here is as you are there, unless we make a deliberate decision, like I did when entering the music business for a few years, that we're going to do this at a professional level. Is anyone here familiar with a website called Amazon? Yes. All hands are up. Got it. Professionally or as a customer?
Customer,
right. It's easy to be a customer, right? We got millions and millions of customers. That's, show up with your credit card. And that's it.
Well, one thing, let me say one thing, John.
Yeah.
When before you left on vacation last week, you said you wanted to come back and found out what kind of progress everybody's made.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am now set up completely as a seller on Amazon and Etsy, and I have a few products.
Well done. That's production. That is a professional effort, right? So that is not for the purpose of consuming, but for producing. Thank you for that reminder too, Sandra. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth until I hear it. So thank you. We should, this Friday, Fun Friday, right? So 2 days from now, the topic shall be, and Sandra, remind me of this if you will, Sharing wins. We're going to share wins this Friday. I want to hear about production. So I gave you a week while I was off the grid and totally out of communication to go ahead and produce something. You got a couple more days just to make sure you've got a win to share, right? It's like you're being held to account now. You must show up with a win. And because it's Friday, a joke. And if you got any dogs or cats or frogs or whatever, I'd like to see them as well. We have our dog shows on Fridays. So thank you, Sandra. Back to the idea is that Sandra, in this case, she will be our test subject. She will be our specimen, all right? And a fine specimen she is, okay? So despite her familiarity with this website called Amazon, as a customer, she's now engaging in that realm as somebody else, as are all of you, whether you've done that yet or not, right? Your intention is to do that, is to not only consume, but to produce, right? So it's a different thinkingness around that. There's a different mindset. And that is where I think we deserve to be mindful of, well, who's showing up to do this, right? Is it John, the consumer? I'm sorry, if you guys can hear these dogs, they're going absolutely crazy. You know what? Let's just do it.
I'm in.
Let's do it. Do you guys still hear me? I came off of my sound
Yeah.
system. Yeah. All right, get ready for this. I know it's not Friday, but still. So my wife just pulled into the garage, and here's crazy dog number one, who's very attached. That's Jag. And here's little Butchie. Yeah, let me turn on some lights. Here's little Butchie, who's got 3 legs. He's my little Chihuahua. How you doing, buddy? Yep. Okay, very good. You guys relax. I'm on a call. There's no need for howling at the moment. Okay. Was that pleasing for you?
Yes.
Okay, makes it a little bit more real. This is my workstation, by the way. If you're wondering what I look at every day, it's that. So, so let's plug back in now that the dogs have calmed down. All right, check. Are we live? Good. All right, we're good. So there's an approach to this reality called e-commerce, which you've all engaged in as customers. And there's an approach which would be that of the producer, the entrepreneur, the purveyor of these goods, services, benefits, whatever people are buying, right? Now, here's the question. We know that anybody can be a consumer, right? You don't need training, right? Hi, Tracy. Here's the training course on how to buy stuff on Amazon, okay? And there's 25 modules. You got to watch all these videos, you see, and then you're going to get an education about the different categories of products that you could buy, Tracy. And some of this stuff is pretty delightful. In fact, let's show you some pictures. Here's the sales brochure on how to be a customer, and look at the stuff that you can get. I mean, it's spectacular, right? And people buy that deal all the time. Now, they don't get the training package with that. They already know how to do that. They don't need training. Okay, but now as the producer of stuff, well, how do I produce? How do I cause others to be the consumer? It's a totally different mindset. And it's one, I just heard the word come out of my mouth, cause, right? It's a causative approach that you're taking. It's not, I'm the effect, you produce the product, I'm the effect, you sell me your stuff that you created, that you caused to occur, right? So now you get to balance those flows. Now, do you think most people are in balance with that? I mean, think of let's take it out of e-commerce for a minute into something else that's equally easy to consume, which would be media, social media, television, whatever, right? So how many of you produce as much media as you consume? Probably nobody, right? So now there are people who produce that stuff. In case you were wondering, it doesn't just, spring out of the ground spontaneously. I mean, somebody originated that stuff. So what we've got to do, I think, is balance the flow. We inflow, we consume. We don't need training on that. But outflow, produce, This is the major departure that a lot of people experience when, or fail to experience fully, when they're coming out of years or decades of indoctrination into the employee mindset. Robert Kiyosaki in Cash Flow Quadrant, one of the books I recommended, he talked about the different quadrants that people operate from when making money, surviving, living their life, whatever, right? There's the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor. 4 different approaches, and they are different. But the employee quadrant, which many of you didn't need much training to get into the mindset of that, not the specialized knowledge of how to click the buttons and do the thing at the factory. Yeah, I mean, you're an employee, you're going to work with the machinery. You get the training on that. That's fine. But the mindset of how to be an employee, maybe you needed a little bit of guidance on how to create a resume or something, or, that it's a good idea to show up on time. That's a good idea. But, and how to, not just cause wars inside the office, right? It's how to work, with other people and stuff like that. But the idea that you could show up and have a job, you've had that demonstrated to you your whole life, right? Probably, unless you're the first person to lift yourself out of, government assistance or something, and 5th or 6th generation welfare recipients, right? But there is a level of productivity that was demonstrated to you throughout your life by those who came before you. They worked their jobs, right? Now, some of you had entrepreneurial parents or grandparents or whatever, and they give you a bigger view. Hey, there's other things you could do too, rather than punch this clock. But for the majority of people who are engaging in an effort like this, like e-commerce, right, there is a necessary departure from the employee mindset, which is in many ways also the consumer mindset, right? I mean, think about this. You get hired at a job. Okay, I'm not talking about, you're the business owner and you're the plumber and you got the job at the guy's house, right? And you get the next job tomorrow. That's being personally marketable. Okay, I'm talking about one job at the office for 20 friggin' years. So you showed up for that. Did you cause that operation? No. You are the effect of that operation. That agenda was already there before you. So what we're talking about here is departing from, by degree, or creating a balance between the employee mindset and the entrepreneur mindset, the consumer mindset and the producer mindset, the effect mindset and the cause mindset. Most people are way out of balance with that. Way out of balance. I mean, if you look at the entire economy, at least here in much of the Western world, right? Certainly the United States, it's consumerism, debt, right? Put it on your card. And while that has its uses, it also must be engaged with judiciously. I have an opportunity just to just go a little bit afield of what we're doing here in this operation. I have an opportunity to coach and mentor other successful entrepreneurs, businesses that are looking to expand and get their branding together and expand their marketing and their reach. And I was talking with actually one of my clients yesterday, high-level client, very, very successful lady. And we got to talking about some of the concepts of being more of the CEO mindset rather than just a worker inside your business. There's an old saying, you want to work on your business, not just in it. Okay. Again, that's a bit of a trap, right? It's a bit of a trap. We've talked about that here before in these forums where you kind of get stuck in the self-employed quadrant, as Robert Kiyosaki would call it, which is a step up. Don't get me wrong. That's cool, right? So even if you're still like you're working a job or whatever to keep the lights on, that's good and responsible. Nice. All right. Do what you got to do as a stepping stone to self-employed and then, business owner and ultimately investor, where you don't show up at all, right? You've got money working for you, which is again, a big departure in terms of mindset. So hopefully when you look at your own, your approach to this, and this is where I'm going with all this, okay, is when you look at your approach to this and what you're going to invest in yourself. You didn't have to do the 28 module course on how to buy stuff on Amazon like Tracy did. Okay. Sorry, Tracy, I'm leaning on you a little bit here in fun. So no, you didn't need that course. You didn't have to invest anything except, show up and buy stuff. Okay. So here you're going to invest time, attention, money, right? And you're going to say no to other things, because every opportunity has a cost. In the business world, we call this opportunity cost. If I say yes to this, that means I say no to that, right? I can't show up and everywhere. I can't say yes to everything. I've got to have some boundaries. Otherwise, the fox that chases too many rabbits catches none of them. So we'll pick a rabbit then. Okay. But then not with the mindset of the consumer, more of the mindset of like the investor. It's like, here's $10,000. Okay. I'm going to go buy iPhones and Barbie dolls and crap. Or here's $10,000 and I'm going to invest it in the best thing I could tell you I've ever invested in, which is my own ability to earn. There's a fable by Aesop. I'm sure you've heard of the golden goose, the fable of the golden goose. So I'm going to give you the John Lavenia version of that. Okay, so here's the farmer, and he very fortuitously discovered that his goose lays golden eggs, and he, in his case, because he was a fool, he cut open the goose to get all the eggs, and he found there was no eggs there, and he killed the goose, and no more eggs. Hence, greed and impatience and the virtues of life and all this. So here's the rest of the story. The farmer got a second chance, and he fed the goose. And he nurtured the goose, and he got the goose. He treated the goose like royalty, and built him a palace of a goose pen and the finest organic foods. And the eggs got bigger, and they came faster. And he lived happily ever after the end. All right. So there's the rest of the story. Okay. So who's the goose? You're the goose. So rather than looking at, and because you're all at various stages of considering and deciding, how far are you going to go with all this? So rather than, I don't know, spend some money on a course and, and that's just one of your investments. Okay. Time, there's the commodity you never get back. You can go make more money. That's fine. Okay. But rather than looking at it as just an expense, just like the Barbie dolls and TV sets and whatever, it's an investment in the best thing you could possibly invest in, which is your own ability to earn, your own ability to squirt out those golden eggs. I've personally invested over 300,000 and counting into my own education. And I've made a lot more than. Somebody sneezed at my number. Did you sneeze? Like that wasn't enough for you? Was that Sandra or was that William?
That's a lot of money.
Well, no, not compared to how much I've earned. It's a good deal. I'm a good investment. Right? 20 something, 30 years ago, you wouldn't recognize me. My life wasn't working. Arguably it is now. So where am I going with all this? Decide how you're going to show up here. Show up as the producer, the entrepreneur, the person worth investing in. And all that out of Lynn telling me she went to London, right? Can you imagine, Lynn? This is how my brain works. You just say one word and I got like hours of content. It's just, I don't even know where it comes from. Anyway, let me stop talking. Do we have any entrepreneurs here? Is anyone here a good investment? Please come on out, share your experience thus far. Sandra, thanks for volunteering. You already did.
I'm getting there, thinking that I may be a good investment. No one ever told me I was smart when I was a kid. I had to discover I was on my own. Mm-hmm. Growing up with one of them kind of mothers, emotionally abusive mother, who never thought I was good enough. So I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to turn those tapes off that keep running in your head. So I'm getting to the point where I think I can do this.
Mm-hmm. Amen. What you just opened up with was no one ever told me I'm smart. All right. So again, there it is. Outside cause you effect, right? Oh, like I need validation from you, mom. No. Who are you? You decide that. So yeah, I think you're
Yes.
brilliant, Sandra. You're quite able, very able. Sandra, ladies
Thank
and
you,
gentlemen.
John.
Bam. You're welcome. All right. I saw
There's
William had a hot
Shaq.
mic. Uh-oh. Here he comes. The man of the hour, the mountain of power, never takes a shower. Shaq, ladies and gentlemen.
Love Shaq.
That was a good one, John. No, I was actually very pleased that you started out this call here with some talk about good old torture crib.
Oh no! Oh no!
The whole all last week I was listening to torture crib.
Oh no! That's my old band, my last band anyway.
That's you on the vocals.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Well, anyway, what I want to say here, to chime in this this like self-investment talk. It kind of reminds me of a conversation that I had recently with a friend of mine, kind of on the topic of karma, and that in Sanskrit, karma means action. And basically how I was explaining it to him was that it works like pushing a pendulum or like pushing a swing set. Like kind of what you put into your push is what you're gonna get swinging back at you. And because me and him were having a conversation about big boned people, and he was trying to argue to me that like some people are just born with large bodies, and sure you can be a heavy baby, but really your upbringing and what your parents feed you and also their diet will influence yours as well, and also your physique. And so what I was trying to tell him was that, hey man, I was 9 pounds when I was born. I was a big baby, and some people may argue that I'm still a big baby, but and my dad was about 250 to 300 pounds. He would sway. So he was a heavy guy, and I've got a lot of heavy family, and I was a chubby kid, but that was all my fault. Like I had a friend in kindergarten tell me, because me and him were both enthusiasts for pizza Lunchables. We loved some pizza Lunchables, but he told me that his dad told him that he had to stop eating them or else he'd get fat. And so he came to school and told me what his dad told him, and I was like, that's hogwash. Like I don't believe that. But by the time I got to 4th grade, I was fat. And he was right. I never stopped eating. He did. And I kept on that weight until about high school, when I got really into wrestling. And I lost a bunch of weight, and I got in shape. Put it back on in college. But I recently, in between January and now, I feel like I keep talking about this, but it's because I'm kind of proud of myself that I went from 190 pounds or 195 pounds to 168 pounds, just about. And it was all due to the actions that I put in habitually, that caused that. And that's the investment. To be an investor in the I quadrant of the cash quadrant, or the cash flow quadrant, you don't really need money. It's not all about monetary investments. It's about investments of your time and your energy. And that's all you need to get started. Because who was it who said this? I forget, but they said, the lack of money is not the problem. It's the lack of an idea. It's the lack of an idea on how to make your or earn your money. And so, yeah, I just wanted to chime in with the karma part. It's really about consistent action and making smart investments in things that will have a potentially high return on your.
Thank you, Shaq. Well, if you can't bet on you, then what are we talking about? You got to have you. So, and just my own curiosity, I don't know, how tall are you?
I'm about 6'3" with my hair.
You're 6'3" with 165 pounds?
168.
That so that sounds skinny to me. I'm 175 or so, and I'm 5'6.5". But it's muscle for the most part. I mean, I could probably drop 5 pounds. Got a little bit of, got a 4-pack. I don't have a 6-pack, right? So are you just like a slender dude?
Not just slender. I feel like you're inviting me to show you my my
I'm ready for the
physique.
gun show, man.
Ready for
But
the gun show.
but no, I mean, obviously you're tall, right? A lot taller
Yeah.
than little Italian guys, but still, you sound like you're in perfect shape, perhaps
Lean
exceedingly lean. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I have a video coming out soon where I'll show off the guns, and I'm also featuring you, John. I have some footage of you in there,
Oh, man.
so
Okay.
I'll put that
Can't wait.
in chat.
All right. Get ready, everybody. Hey, where's Renee? Let's get Renee out here. Thanks, Shaq.
No
I'm
problem.
here and it's
Hey.
good to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of been on a little bit of a journey. I got hacked big
Oh.
time, and they were in my computer, they were in my phone. Apparently, some kind of little bug was put on my phone, and they had been monitoring my phone conversations for a month, which went through every credit card that I spoke over the phone while setting up
Ooh.
the business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So $15,000 later and a lot of headache, I am still fighting to get my identity back.
Okay.
Just a shout out, y'all, do not answer a phone number that you do not recognize, especially if it comes from Las Vegas or Florida. If you don't recognize it, don't answer it. It takes them about 2.2 seconds to put a bug on your phone that can hear everything you say. And yeah, the hackers actually called me impersonating my bank and told me exactly conversations that I'd had in the month previously. And it was like, I have PTSD and it sent me into a tailspin. So to answer your question, am I an entrepreneur? Am I still in? I am still all in. We are now, I don't think anybody could have more protection on their computer and phone than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But through it all, I kept trying to create. It was very difficult to create during that time. So when I couldn't create, I just kept going through the stuff. That whole identity thing set back my Amazon and everything else. So finally got that all sorted up, and I just got verification that my Amazon account is ready for stuff to be listed. And that was like a big wait. Etsy's good and going. And now I've got, lots of stuff to upload. Still dealing with mom with dementia, and it's just a matter of finding that balance. But through it all, the one thing that I have been able to prove to myself is that I am not a quitter. And this is going to work because I'm going to make it work. They may have my money still because we're still fighting over that. But they don't have who I am, and money comes and money goes, but who you are stays the same. So my best advice to everybody is keep on keeping on. If you want it, you can have it.
Wow. Renee, I'm sorry to hear about that situation. I know you're also dealing with, your mom and all that. Nadia has a question. Was that an iPhone that they were able to do that to?
It was an iPhone. It was acting a kind of weird, and I had answered a phone number that I thought I recognized, and then, had the silence on the other side. And from that point, my phone was acting up, but I thought, oh, well, I'm testing beta and blah, blah, blah. And that happens. So I had an excuse for every little glitch that came up. And then when I received a phone call, it was from my bank. I got my bank to verify everything, but they had already through all my setup of accounts, because they had already hacked into my phone. They had my credit card informations with the CVV numbers and all that stuff. And they had already hacked into my bank account.
No, hold on. This was from an audio call, like a phone call?
Yes, a phone call. You know how you get those potential spam calls? They have something
all day,
that's
every
called
day. Yeah.
spoof, and they can spoof your bank's numbers. So your bank is probably not going to call you, just saying. You call your bank, they don't call you.
Yeah, it
You
just
know,
seems,
that's-
and I'm sorry to be on to like dig in so deep on this, Renee. It just seems weird that, I mean, if I called you right now and you probably don't have my phone number in your phone, okay, but if I used my iPhone and called you, there's no way I could extract data with sound.
No, you don't extract it. They put a bug in it. So everything that I do, it's like a listening bug. So every conversation that I had, and I also just got a new computer, and I hadn't had the computer all set up, but you know, they say that people can get in through your camera. I don't know that to be true, but my bank, which really was my bank later on when we talked about it, said that the way that they put the listening bug on your phone is through phone calls that you don't recognize. If you pick it up and answer, they have a way of immediately installing a bug on your phone. Now, iPhone tells me that I have everything I need to not have that happen again. But these people had absolute access to everything.
Unreal.
And since my phone was attached to my IP address on Wi-Fi, they got into my computer that way. So the phone was just the gateway, and the rest, I mean, I don't even begin to understand everything they did, but it started with a simple bug that they placed on my phone through a phone call that I did not recognize.
Okay. Well, and the operating system has since been updated, right?
Everything is good to go. I went on computer silence, everything silence, until I upgraded and had everything swept. So you guys are safe.
Thank you. And sorry, guys, we went way off topic, but I think that was, I mean, it's 2022, right? And not everyone is a high ethics person, just in case you were wondering. Like, the world's populated with a variety of people of various ethical levels. All right, good. Thank you, Renee. Good to hear your voice, and let's connect. It'd be good to get an update from you on what's going on in your world besides, you know, what we just heard.
Chaos.
All right. Nadia, did you have a comment, or anybody else with a question, comment?
I did.
Hi, Nadia.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask real quick. I know we're trying to move off topic, but I'm terrified now. I'm going to Google the crap out of that, because I have a lot of family who's very like old fashioned, and like they pay for my phone, and I'm always paranoid that they're in my phone and I don't have privacy. So Renee, did you not have a password on your phone? Was it not locked at that time? I'm wondering if that's maybe part of it.
Everything was password protected. To my knowledge at the time, it was all password protected, etc. But
Okay.
I
Interesting.
was told that the gateway was answering the phone call from the number that I did not recognize.
And what did you call it? You said I'm
It
sorry.
was
Snoop
okay. This happened like a month before I actually got hacked. I received a phone call. It was from a
Right.
number that I believed I recognized. I answered it, and when I answered it, there was like silence and a squeal on the end of the line. And I didn't think anything else about it. But I found out later that answering phone calls like that, they can put a bug on your phone. Because I was like driving when I answered it, you know, and I didn't turn it off right away because I wasn't sure if I was missing something. And you know, sometimes people have a pause or whatever. I gave myself excuses, but the bug was placed when I answered a phone call that I did not recognize, and it was actually a hacker that was phishing.
All
And
right.
that's when they started recording everything.
Thank you, Renee, and thank you for asking, Nadia.
Thank you.
But apparently, you know, keep your equipment updated, right? They're always putting security updates, automatically update your stuff. and you'll be, I think, less likely to be hacked or whatever that is. This is like Terminator stuff. You guys remember the Terminator movies? I think it was Terminator 3, where the she Terminator was able to just like pick up a phone, and then like this data was coming out of her mouth, like right, and she was able to hack the database and find John Connor or whatever. Yeah, here we are, 21st century. Queenie, you'll have the last word today. Queenie, come on out. Queenie Brown.
Hey there.
Here she is.
Hi. I actually wasn't trying to speak, but I'm here, and so I will. How
Oh,
are
okay.
you?
I saw your hand went up, your virtual
Yeah,
hand.
I did. It's okay. I'm glad that you're giving me an opportunity. I am super excited about getting going, and I've gotten my Amazon store set up, and I'm just, wanting to know where to go next. There's so much information, and I've got a vision for my business, and I'm not sure how to take the next step. So where do I go to ask questions?
Well, the Facebook group is useful. Of course, the
Okay.
course material itself, which you log in and you go through the modules.
Right.
And if you have any questions on that, specifically that you can't get answered with like the other people here in the group, then, there's the help desk. You know how to reach the help desk, right?
No, I don't. How do I do
Ah.
that?
Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that in the chat right now. It's help@lowhangingecom.com. Help@lowhangingecom.com. And they will help you. Hence,
Thank
the
you.
email address. You're welcome, Queenie. Welcome,
I appreciate
Queenie,
it.
everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let's get back together again. Tomorrow, of course, this room's always open. If you guys want to chit chat amongst yourselves, as soon as I shut it down, it opens again. And I'll be back here with you on Friday. So we're going to share wins on Friday. And don't let it just be me sharing wins. I want to hear your wins. Thank you for the reminder on that's part of our agenda here. So thank you.